Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. Recovering from an eating disorder means finding out who you really are without your eating habits, your weight, or your body image defining you. The most important thing that requires changing and needs addressing is your mindset. What's easier to change are your behaviors before tackling your mindset. By rewriting the behavioral patterns that you have developed while having an eating disorder, by changing those patterns, you are gradually actually training your brain to change its mindset from a distorted mindset to a more healthy mindset. I've come to realize that in recovery, it's the little changes that make the biggest difference. So I have put together kind of a list of the little things, the little changes that you can make in your life to make recovery a little bit easier as you go on to change your mindset. The more those positive changes become your normal behavioral patterns, the more your mind will adjust and adapt. First thing you can do, and you should do, is if you have a scale that you use to weigh yourself every day, get rid of it. You no longer need to be enslaved by a meaningless number. By getting rid of the scale and no longer focusing on your weight, you will then find that there are so many other numbers in your life that have been basically mastering you. So this means that stop looking at nutritional facts. Stop calculating every calorie and every gram of fat in what you are eating. Means no more calorie counting. Instead of looking at a plate of food and getting overwhelmed and telling yourself you have to eat everything, just tell yourself, all I have to do is get one bite down. Eat that bite and then move on to the next. It's one bite after another. It's easier to look at something as a single thing rather than like the major big goal. Instead of looking at the major end goal of finishing the plate, take it one step at a time, one little bite at a time. And your goal is to have that bite. And then your next goal is to have another one. And then another one. And if you manage to finish the whole plate, good for you. And if you don't, that's okay as well. You're going to get there. You just have to let the process move you slowly. Prepare ahead of time, meaning take maybe a week at a time or maybe even just 3 days at a time and make a list of tentative things that you would be willing to cook and eat each day. You don't have to stick to that list, but at least you have an idea of some things that sound good to you, or you know that it's easy, it's quick, I don't have to think too much about preparing this, I can just eat it and I'll be fine. That way, when you have like a busy day or a very overwhelming day, or you're just not feeling the best, you have that list to turn to and you don't have to put too much thinking into it, you just do. Because I know how much pressure and how overwhelming it can feel to feel like I have to eat something, but I really don't want to. Nothing sounds good. So I've started just having it started as a physical list, but now I have a mental list of things, of dishes that I know I can make. They're easy, they're quick. I don't have to put a lot of preparation. I don't have to put a lot of thinking into it. I just know these are the things I like. And if I can't think of anything and if nothing sounds good, at least I know once that thing is made, I will like it. So I get home from work late at night and I don't want to think about food. So having that mental list or having that physical list has been very helpful to just make sure that I'm eating every day. Treat yourself to your bad foods. I've mentioned this in previous videos and it might not seem like a little thing at first, but eventually making this change is going to be like second nature. And so what it is basically is I don't dive into the deep end, head first by doing it like every week, but I would say maybe once a month or every other month when you're first starting out in recovery is try to eat something that scares you, one of your bad foods. The foods that you just, for the longest time, you said, no, I'm not going to eat it. And try to eat that food every couple of weeks or every month or every other month, just once. You don't even have to eat all of it, whatever that thing is. Just make sure you incorporate your scary foods into your diet as you're recovering. distract yourself. Find ways to preoccupy your time and your thoughts. Obviously, when you have an eating disorder, your time and your thoughts are overwhelmed by an obsession with thinking about food, obsessing over calories, body image, all these things. But when you choose recovery and you start to recover, you're going to find that your thoughts are not going to always be on food anymore. It's about switching your mind from obsessing over food to thinking about other things. Once I stopped thinking constantly about food, I realized there are more important things to be worried about. Now that might sound kind of like a bad thing, but I realized there are bigger problems in my life than food. Food is not a problem, and I shouldn't be obsessing this much. And suddenly I had all this free time. I had all this free thought space that I could put my energy into other things. I could put my energy and time into bettering myself, turning back to things that used to bring, enjoyment to my life, hobbies that I had abandoned because I'd been so depressed and obsessed with, self-deprecation and counting calories. And I had this rigid schedule that just, I couldn't schedule time to be happy and to do the things that I enjoyed. Recovery gives you a chance to get that time back. Find someone to talk to. You don't have to talk to that person about what you're feeling. You don't have to talk to them about what you're struggling with. You don't even have to talk to them about your eating disorder. Just find someone, have someone in your life that you can literally talk to about anything. It could be a meaningless, pointless conversation, but just talk to someone else. Human interaction is so helpful. I am a major introvert, and being around people scares me. It brings anxiety attacks like you would not believe. I panic every time I know I have to be in a large crowd, but I know that being around other people is going to be beneficial. We are social creatures. We need human interaction, and to deny that is to deny part of our human self. And an eating disorder makes us less human by isolating us, and in other ways as well, but in a major way by isolating us from our true nature. And so recovery is about rediscovering our true nature and really finding out who we are. For so long we've been defined by a destructive concept, the eating disorder. And so we have to allow people back into our lives even when it scares us. Another really good reason why you want to be a little bit, basically force yourself to be a little bit more social. And even if that means just one person that you really rely on, it gives you a chance to get your mind off the eating disorder. When you allow yourself to enjoy the company of other people, there's no room for negativity, and the eating disorder is a major negative part of your life. So there's no room for that when you're having fun, when you're laughing, when you're with people who make you smile and who make you feel light and free and, set aside from the eating disorder. So really allow yourself to enjoy those moments. And it's hard at first because an eating disorder is about self-punishment. It's about denying us good things. And one of those good things is laughter, is being able to smile, being able to be happy, being able to be around people who bring those good things out of you. So you really just have to submerge yourself in those settings and really be if you're having a conversation with someone, be with that person in that conversation. Because when you're listening to another person and when you're thinking of a response to that person and really paying attention to that person, you can't pay attention to the eating disorder, and the eating disorder loses its voice at that point. Clean out your closet. Get rid of all the clothes you used to hide behind. For me, that was empire waisted dresses and oversized clothes. I don't know how many bags, like garbage bags full of dresses that cut right under the bust so then it was flowy, or like baby doll tops, or clothes that were, extra large. I had so many sweaters and sweatshirts that were just massive, and there's no reason for that stuff to be there. It's just stuff that you're using to hide. Recovery is about, I'm not gonna hide anymore. It's about, like I've said it a million times, recovery is about finding out who you are, and to really discover who you are, you can't hide behind anything. You have to be transparent and you have to be vulnerable. And that means, as something as mundane and superficial as the clothes you wear, you have to wear the things that scare you. Recovery is about doing the things that scare you. And for me, wearing tight clothes and wearing not even tight clothes, clothes that weren't 3 sizes bigger than what I should wear, wearing my size scared me. I would buy, skirts and shorts and pants and sweatshirts and sweaters and t-shirts. Everything was just 3 sizes bigger. I don't know how much, like triple X. And I'm hiding. Why am I hiding? Why am I afraid to really be me? Why am I afraid for the world to really see me? And it's because the eating disorder was our definition. It was my definition. And I was scared I wouldn't know who I was without it. And so these clothes were reminders of, at least the eating disorder gives me a definition. But when you strip away those clothings and you strip away the eating disorder, what's underneath? And you need to be proud of what's underneath, because you've come so far and you need to celebrate that victory. So clean out your closet, plus get rid of all the extra clutter, and just, you're gonna feel so much better because you can organize and it gives you something to do, distracting yourself. So after you've cleaned out your closet, suddenly you're like, oh crap, I don't have any clothes. So go shopping, get new clothes. Eating disorders, like I said, keep you from good things. It tells you you don't deserve good things. And one of those things are new clothes. Not clothes that you hope to fit into one day, not clothes that are 3 sizes too big for you. No, go get clothes that fit you now. Your body is probably going to change and you'll have to go shopping again. All well. Just wherever you are, meet yourself there. It's not about your past. It's not about the things you've been through or where you used to be. It's not about where you're going. Recovery says we're taking it one day at a time. So be in today. So it is something as simple as buying clothes for today. Don't spend forever in front of the mirror obsessing. It's nearly impossible to go a day without seeing your reflection. I still do this from time to time. I will catch myself standing in front of the mirror and focusing without even really noticing, just focusing on the things that I don't like. Basically, spend as little time in front of the mirror. Just spend the time that you have to. If that means, you put your makeup on, you do your hair, you're out. That's it. Or you put an outfit on, you check to make sure it looks good, and then you're gone. Minimize your time spent in front of the mirror. That takes the focus off of your body image and puts it more on what's going on inside your head. Focus on becoming more self-aware. Really make an effort to recognize negative behavioral patterns and psychological patterns so that you can slowly break those patterns down by either doing the opposite or just by doing something differently. Clearly, your current way of living is making you miserable, so why not a change? But take it slow, one pattern at a time. Just like I said, one day at a time. Take it one behavior at a time, one psychological mindset at a time, and really just focus on breaking one pattern and then the next, and then making another change and then another change. It's a slow process and you have to take it slow in order for it to have the greatest effect. That's the thing with recovery. You have to let it be a process no matter how slow it seems. Over time, things get easier and things start to make a little bit more sense. You just have to start. That might be the hardest decision, and that might be the hardest thing to do. Once you choose recovery, once you just start to do it, it becomes your new pattern. It becomes your new way of life. Every day it gets a little bit easier. Sometimes you have fallbacks. Sometimes it seems really hard. But when you fight through the hard times, the next time that hard time comes around again, you'll know what to do because you've already been through it once. And it just starts to get a little bit easier and it becomes second nature to just keep fighting. And eventually you'll get to a point, and I've come to a point where why didn't I start sooner? Why did I ever think fighting this and fighting for my life was the wrong decision? And eventually you get to a point where you know that it's a fight, but it's a fight you know you can win because you've won it before, and you're going to keep winning it every single time. Even when it's hard, even when you mess up, even when you make mistakes, you know you can always come back from it. So those are just some of my tips and my advice to just get started with recovery. And I hope it helps. I hope you learned something. If you did, please give this video a like, a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.